5,000 years, one civilization, countless rises and collapses, and somehow, it never disappears. While empires across the world rise and fall into dust, China bends, breaks, and reforms itself again and again. From legendary emperors and brutal wars to forbidden palaces, foreign invasions, and a modern superpower racing into the future, this is not just history, it's survival on an epic scale. Every dynasty leaves a scar, every collapse plants a seed, and every revolution reshapes the world beyond China's borders. Stay with us, because once this story begins, there is no pause, only momentum, mystery, and power. Long before China was a nation, it was a landscape of rivers, rituals, and rising ideas. Along the unpredictable floods of the Yellow River, early communities learned that survival depended on cooperation, innovation, and order. By around 2100 BCE, these settlements coalesced into the legendary Qing dynasty, often seen as the threshold between myth and recorded history. Power was no longer temporary or tribal, it became inherited, structured, and sacred. The Shang dynasty deepened this transformation, mastering bronze technology, organizing complex armies, and leaving behind the earliest known Chinese writing. Inscribed on oracle bones, these symbols captured questions of war, harvest, and destiny, marking humanity's first attempt to converse with history itself. As centuries passed, the Zhou dynasty reshaped how power was justified. The revolutionary idea of the mandate of heaven declared that rulers governed by moral authority, not divine permanence. A king could lose heaven's favor through corruption or cruelty, legitimizing rebellion and renewal. In this intellectual crucible, Confucianism and Taoism emerged, one emphasizing duty, hierarchy, and harmony, the other balance, nature, and restraint. These philosophies did more than guide personal behavior. They molded governance, family life, and social order. By the time constant warfare fractured the land into rival states, a shared cultural identity had already formed. China was not yet unified, but its civilization was already unmistakably alive. After centuries of relentless warfare, China was finally bound together by force, vision, and fear. In 221 BCE, Qin Shi Huang ended the age of rival states and declared himself the first emperor, creating a unified realm where none had existed before. His rule was uncompromising. Laws were standardized, weights and measures unified, and a single written script imposed across vast territories, allowing officials and soldiers to govern with unprecedented efficiency. Massive road networks and defensive walls cut across mountains and plains, while entire populations were mobilized to serve the state. Even in death, the emperor sought immortality, leaving behind the terracotta army, thousands of life-sized soldiers frozen in silent loyalty. The Qin Empire collapsed almost as quickly as it rose, but its blueprint endured. The Han dynasty transformed harsh control into lasting governance, blending legal authority with Confucian ideals. China expanded its borders, securing trade routes that evolved into the Silk Road, linking East Asia to the Mediterranean world. Silk, ideas, technology, and belief systems flowed in both directions, quietly shaping global history. Paper was invented, bureaucracy refined, and merit replaced birth as the path to power. By the fall of the Han in 220 CE, China had become more than a unified land. It was a confident empire, aware of its strength and its central place in an interconnected ancient world. As much of the world struggled through instability and decline, China entered an era of remarkable confidence and creativity. Cities swelled into vast urban centers, markets buzzed with international trade, and Culture flourished under dynasties that prized learning and refinement. The Tang era transformed China into the most cosmopolitan society on earth. Its capital attracted merchants, scholars, and diplomats from across Asia and beyond, turning the empire into a living crossroads of civilizations. Poetry, painting, and music reached new heights, while religious ideas traveled freely along trade routes that stretched deep into Central Asia. This momentum accelerated under the Song dynasty, where innovation became the engine of everyday life. Knowledge spread rapidly through advances in printing, while gunpowder altered the balance of warfare forever. The magnetic compass opened new horizons for navigation, and paper money revolutionized commerce, allowing trade on a scale previously unimaginable. A merit-based civil service rewarded intellect over lineage, producing one of the most efficient administrations in the pre-modern world. Yet beneath this prosperity lay growing vulnerability, political division and military weakness. When foreign forces finally overran the empire in 1279, they ended native rule, but not China's influence. The ideas and inventions born in this age would travel far beyond its borders, quietly reshaping the future of humanity. In 1279, China's long tradition of native rule was broken by conquest from the north. The Mongols, masters of the steppe and unparalleled in mobility and warfare, absorbed China into the vast Yuan Empire, stretching from the Pacific to Eastern Europe. For the first time, China became part of a truly global system, where merchants, travelers, and ideas moved across continents with unprecedented speed. Marco Polo's accounts would later astonish Europe, but within China, Mongol rule remained fragile. Ethnic divisions, heavy taxation, and natural disasters eroded legitimacy, and rebellion simmered beneath the surface until the dynasty collapsed. From this chaos emerged the Ming, a native Chinese dynasty determined to restore order and authority. The state rebuilt itself with confidence and ambition. Beijing became the political heart of the empire, crowned by the Forbidden City, a symbol of imperial perfection and absolute power. The Great Wall was reinforced in stone, not merely as defense, but as a declaration of permanence. China turned outward as well, launching vast maritime expeditions under Admiral Zheng, whose fleets dwarfed European ships and reached Southeast Asia, India, and Africa. Yet this outward gaze did not last. Over time, bureaucratic rigidity, court factionalism, and fear of instability pushed the empire inward, slowing innovation and isolating China from emerging global transformations. In the mid-17th century, another conquest reshaped the empire. The Manchus crossed the Great Wall and founded the Qing dynasty, ruling China for nearly 3 centuries. Rather than erase Chinese culture, the Qing preserved Confucian institutions while expanding the empire to its greatest territorial extent, incorporating Tibet, Xinjiang, Mongolia, and Taiwan. Under their rule, population surged, agriculture expanded, and China became one of the world's largest economies. But success carried hidden costs. Rapid population growth strained resources, corruption spread through the bureaucracy, and technological stagnation left China vulnerable. As the world beyond its borders industrialized, China stood powerful yet exposed, an ancient civilization once again approaching a turning point. By the dawn of the 19th century, China remained vast, cultured, and confident, yet dangerously unprepared for a world transformed by industrial power. The Qing Empire, governing through traditions that had endured for centuries, now faced nations driven by steam, steel, and global ambition. This collision was sudden and brutal. The Opium Wars tore open China's coastal defenses, exposing the military imbalance between empire and industry. Defeat forced the signing of unequal treaties, surrendering ports, territory, and legal authority to foreign powers. For the first time, China's sovereignty was compromised not by conquest alone, but by economic coercion and technological inferiority. Internal pressures soon matched external humiliation. Explosive population growth strained land and food supplies, while corruption hollowed out the state. The Taiping Rebellion erupted with apocalyptic force, claiming tens of millions of lives and devastating entire regions. Smaller uprisings followed, each chipping away at imperial authority. Reformers called for modernization, new armies, new schools, new industries, but change moved too slowly, blocked by conservative resistance and court intrigue. Meanwhile, Western powers and Japan expanded their influence, carving China into competing spheres of control. In 1911, the unthinkable occurred. The Qing dynasty collapsed, ending more than 2,000 years of imperial rule. Yet the fall of the throne did not bring stability out of decades of war and collapse. A new China emerged in 1949, determined to erase the weakness of the past and reclaim national control. The establishment of the People's Republic of China marked a complete rupture with imperial tradition and foreign dominance. Land was redistributed, industry reorganized, and society reshaped under a powerful centralized state. The early years were defined by sweeping ambition and severe trials, as radical campaigns attempted to accelerate transformation at unprecedented speed. Though these efforts carried heavy human and economic costs, they also forged unity, sovereignty, and a modern national framework. After the upheavals of revolution, China changed course. From the late 1970s onward, economic reform and openness to the world reshaped the nation once again. Markets expanded, foreign investment flowed in, and hundreds of millions were lifted out of poverty in a transformation unmatched in scale. Cities rose almost overnight, technology advanced rapidly, and China re-entered global affairs as a central player. Today, China stands as a major economic and political power, balancing ancient identity with modern ambition. Its journey from revolution to resurgence is not a simple rise, but a continuous reinvention, an ancient civilization carrying its past forward while reshaping the future. If this journey through time amazed you, imagine what's coming next. History isn't just something we study, it's something we relive together. Subscribe now to explore powerful documentaries, untold stories, and cinematic history from ancient worlds to modern empires. Like the video, share it with fellow history lovers, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a story that shaped our world. The past still speaks. Make sure you're here to hear it.